Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive, Day 2 covering the NFC North, the most fun set of teams that we will talk about all preseason. We are rounding into preseason shape, just like everybody else. We're out there doing joint practices. We're ready for preseason game 1. We're starting to kind of really feel like I'm ready for the season. Finally got my market ratings worked out yesterday, and kind of now have a little context. What do I really feel? How do I really feel relative to the market about some of these teams? That was a good exercise because I had kind of perceived different than reality on a couple of teams, and Vikings was actually one of them. Yesterday we talked about the Bears, Andy. If you missed the Bears podcast, go back and give that a spin. It was fun. We basically concluded could take a little while for a young quarterback to learn a new system that's super complicated, that doesn't seem to be being integrated seamlessly, at least during the early stages of the camp. And today we're going to cover another quarterback who may take a little while to integrate into a scheme that's not new, but it's new to him because professional football is new to him. Andy, we really have zero clue what JJ McCarthy is going to look like under center. The last time we saw this guy take a snap that was not preseason football, it was the national championship game 2 years ago, where he won at the Michigan Wolverines over TCU. Is that really who they played? TCU? Remember?
Yeah, TCU had a
fair fight. Oh, it wasn't Washington? Was it Washington or TCU?
I thought it was TCU. They had their little glow up at the end of the year, and then they beat like Georgia or something. Or how'd that go? I don't recall. I don't watch football.
I'm spacing. I think it might have been Washington
at the time. Either way, Michigan was the winner of that game. There were, and this has been brought up many times about JJ, and I think this is going to be a very JJ heavy podcast because he is the absolute focal point, the leverage point. It was Washington. It was a purple team.
Purple.
There was a TCU run.
A purple team west of the Mississippi that really just didn't have a chance.
Yeah, maybe was it TCU who played Georgia? TCU played Georgia that year.
Oh, that was not fair.
Where Georgia was getting like 10.2 yards per carry.
And I think that was a 14-point spread that should have been 40.
Yeah. That was, I don't bet a lot of college, but somebody talked me into Georgia. And it was a very fun game because they were putting backups in there, getting 8 yards a carry. Either way, lots of JJ today. And, I went and took in some other content. I don't love taking in a lot of other content other than just like articles that are more informative. Like this is, these are all the offseason moves in case I missed something in my notes. And here's some, some grades on the draft picks, because like I said, I don't watch a ton of college. I need some expert opinion on that. But I did watch some content on the Vikings the last couple of days, wanting to get other people's opinions on JJ McCarthy. And it's funny, I almost called it PFF because it's the rugby player, little guy, and the really big guy with the cool hair. They're with the 33rd team now. I can't think of either of their names. Pazzozo and the other guy, Monson,
yeah. Monson, by the way, on the Circa panel that I'm doing for football.
Good guys. And, I think they were 33rd team, but they had some good points about JJ out of anybody, and it was some positive, some negative, and some of it was there were games where Harbaugh barely asked him to throw the ball. He didn't throw the ball in the second half. Sometimes I think there was that Penn State game where he didn't throw the ball at all in the second half. So
Birdie's saying, check the mic. Your mic sounds good. Is it my mic? Testing.
You sound fine to me.
Huh. Wonder what's going on. Anyway, all right. The
other thing was just they brought up all the quarterbacks who got Check the Mic is the name of their podcast.
Oh, Check the Mic.
Jesus Christ. It took me a second. It got me there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Either way, they brought up a good point too about a lot of the greats, Breeze, Brady, Rodgers. They had 3 or 4 other names that they had that redshirt year or two, or they didn't start right away. And granted, he was injured and he couldn't do a lot of what he wanted to do right away, but having that year to grow and understand the system and work with KOC, that's probably a positive. But also from our standpoint, we still don't know, is he good? Is he fast enough at making decisions? That's the biggest thing we're seeing with Caleb is like, hey, this stuff that worked in college where you're just rolling out and buying some time and then you find a guy, it's just it's
less about do we know he's good and more about is he bad?
Yeah, that's
like
a good
there's
point.
like it's because like we've seen KOC work with mediocre quarterbacks and get pretty good results, including last year. Many would argue where they won 14 games with Mr. Sam Darnold under center. Not what we were expecting heading into the season. Certainly the fact that he was able to get above replacement level performance out of Josh Dobbs when Josh Dobbs didn't know the plays and he was just telling him what to do into the headset is insane. So KSC's got the chops. The big question is like I could hear this argued either way and be persuaded. And I kind of want you just to make a call
here. I'm still stuck in the middle.
This on this, like, is there a lot at stake this year or a little, right? Like, is this like a year where they're expecting some ups and downs? They're expecting him to grow. They're expecting to find out if they need to go do something drastic in the offseason and move on from JJ, right? Like they just want to know, they need that information to make a decision and everybody's going to be chill about it. Or is there a lot at stake where it's like, God, dude, they put a lot of money into this team, into 2 to 53. Like this is a team that is well compensated. They go after free agents year after year. Like they have swung and bunted a couple times, swinging bunts a couple of times in the draft.
That's mostly
hard
the draft.
swings.
The draft is and I think it's almost like the Patriots of old, where the draft never really went great because that's a crapshoot. But they always nailed free agency because they identified guys. It's funny, Flores was part of that.
Sure.
At one point, like identifying guys in free agency who are undervalued, who would fit into your system and scheme and play well, because they've nailed free agency. Yeah. I don't know where they're at, but I do know, and it's funny because here in Minnesota right now, the temperature around the Twins and the poll ads is so negative because they're just awful as far as owners. But on the other side, the Wilfs, who own the Vikings, are very much team. I don't know how to say it.
They get top score every year. Yeah,
they want to win. They don't just view it as a revenue stream and something they have as a tax write-off. Like they do want this team to win. They want it to win for the community, and they're willing to put the money behind it. They obviously the city paid for a bunch of it and taxes too, but got a nice new stadium. You went and got a young aggressive GM. You went and got a coach you like. You're paying all these free agents.
Assistants.
I don't think we're in some like win now mode where. Who's the biggest worry about losing next year?
Well, so this is what I worry about.
I think you have time to ramp up. Is that what you're asking?
Well, not just like what is at stake? Like, is this a bet that needs to show some promise this year, or else it's going to be like the Dolphins next year, right? Like the Dolphins this year feels like I after we did the Dolphins pod, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to bet some McDaniel first coach fired. Now that feels like that should be like -110. Like the stuff that he's saying, to the media down there is literally just like, just put me out of my misery. Like I don't really want to do this. I don't want to coach anymore.
What if I was an offensive coordinator, someone more fun?
yeah, that's kind of the vibe you're getting, right? And like honestly, like if it doesn't work with this quarterback, if Kwesi feels like they've because like in this offseason, they had to make a decision. Like, did we see enough? Do we have enough? And do we have any signal from what we're seeing behind the scenes about JJ to go to war with him with this roster? Because again, 2 to 53, they have built a championship contending roster and they just won 14 games. So the bar and the expectations are high. If JJ does not perform well, like these guys to a degree have stuck their reputation on, this is the path we want to pursue. We want a rookie quarterback to pursue a championship in year 2, 3, 4. And if it's not clear after year 2 that is even plausible, let alone likely, are the vibes really just off next year.
Give me three names. Who are the top three names that are making that decision, saying JJ's our guy?
O'Connell, Kwesi, and the owner, Wolf.
Yeah, and maybe even some of the other offensive coaches who we obviously have a lot of trust in. That's what I'm saying.
We know they had discussions in March, in April, in May. Yeah. Like, is he going to be ready? Are we seeing the growth? How do we feel about this bet we made? Like, do we need to go get Aaron Rodgers to come and save the day here? Like, just entertaining that tells me that there's uncertainty in the people who are making those decisions. And ultimately, they were like, okay, we're going to do the JJ McCarthy experience, and we're going to put on a brave face and go to war with our backup as Sam Howell. That really means that we are doing this.
I don't think the Aaron Rodgers stuff was real. There was never anything substantial proving that that was like ever a thing. Like, and truthfully,
I think it was a good week where they didn't deny it, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Nope, we've decided."
Yeah, but it came out of nowhere. Like, there was no sourcing on that.
This is a good long time before it was officially
because it was May. I don't think they needed to be like, we're not in the Aaron Rodgers business. It's fine. I honestly, I do not believe that for 1 minute they would have ever brought. What a bummer of a person to bring into that locker room. Like, there's no way. I can't see KOC having any whiff of wanting to bring that in, because this is not a team where it's like, hey, we have 1 year, maybe 2 to win here, and then we're turning over 1 million contracts and we have to pay everybody and we're losing our best players. Like, that's the move you do there.
Well, this group has made an active decision that they couldn't get it done with Kirk Cousins at his price point. They made an active decision that they couldn't get it done with Sam Darnold at his price point. And they are they're basically like, the clock is ticking on how long Justin Jefferson is going to be an elite wide receiver. The clock is ticking on how long Christian Darrisaw is going to be an elite left tackle, if he still is an elite left tackle after the injury. Like, you know, your defense is full of guys who are entering the part of their career where you're not getting surplus value for what you're paying them. A lot of those guys. So I kind of look at this as a little fragile and a little bit like into the
extremely fragile. You have a quarterback who's never played a snap.
Yeah.
No, it's one of the most fragile things, because, and it feels more because it's wasteful. It's fragile and wasteful, because if it doesn't work out, you have a very good roster that's going to win 7 games, because it just can't happen with that bad quarterback. And so, for my money, you name those 3 names. I think those are smart people who've made good decisions. I think cutting Kirk was the right decision at that point in his career for as much money as they would have had to pay him from a roster building standpoint. So they nailed that. I think Darnold was never part of the long-term. That was obvious, because he wasn't brought in to be the starter. He was always the Sam Howell. He was last year's Sam Howell, where it's just like, oh no, we have to make this work. And that was just good luck that, you know, it turned out that KOC can turn somebody like him into a serviceable quarterback for almost a full season until for the very end there. So I think that the brain trust that's saying, like, we've seen what we need to see. I've done it with worse. I can do it with this kid. We have enough around him. We've built around it. We only have a couple holes in this roster. I think they've made all the right decisions here. Again, it just, until you see him at full game speed playing against these defenses, even those guys have no idea. Although he's playing against a pretty tough defense every single day since he started, camp. So he's going to get some reps against some good defensive players, against a good defensive scheme. And again, it's going to come down to what he did successfully in college, how well that translates to the pros, because he can, good arm, gets rid of the ball on the move nicely, seems to process stuff. It was in smaller samples in some of those games where it's like, oh, this is a all-pro road grader offensive line, and they can also just run the ball 40 times too and win a game. So it's kind of a weird sample of a career to look at.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, if he's good, what if he's top 10? Like, what if it's just like Jaden Light, where it's like, okay, this guy he gets it right away. He's processing NFL speed. He makes good reads. He makes good decisions, good progressions. Like, if he's top 8, top 10 quarterback, like, this will be a flipped in 3 weeks, they should be favored to win the NFC North, right? Like, it's just going to flip on its head. If it goes to the Bears game and it just tears the Bears apart, and then 2 weeks later they're 3-0, and a lot of it is very apparently on him. God, like they should just be favored to win the North right away. I know there's some good teams.
See the schedule, because their first 3 defenses they're going against look pretty soft.
I know that's what I'm saying.
Start.
I know, but I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that's what the market should react hard.
It is hilarious that you're playing Chicago week 1 in prime time on the road.
People are going to see that. That's what I'm saying.
People are going to see that. But also that, like, number one, it's going to be kind of a battle of who's the least poorly prepared between Caleb and JJ. But it's also going to be a potentially a game without Jalen Johnson. We didn't really cover that much yesterday. And I thought it was like kind of up in the air and he would just kind of trickle back in because he's such an important guy. They're just giving him extra rest. But Ben Johnson said he's not a certain for week 1. Did you know that?
No, I brought that up. I said I said a couple weeks ago, they're like, yeah, it'll be a couple weeks. It made it sound like he was going to be ready for like week 1 of preseason.
And that was kind of my take too. Yeah.
And then last week they said beginning of the year, like, and yeah, it's continued to get worse. Okay. And he matters more than probably anybody in the secondary for sure. He's maybe the most important piece on the defense just because of who's going to have to replace him.
The number one most important piece on the defense, because I feel like the Bears' coverage is what kind of made their pass rush somewhat effective.
Yeah, and just who's going to have to step in for him? It's going to be a huge downgrade against a pretty good wide receiver.
I think so. Although Justin Jefferson, he's going to be 100% for week 1. I think so, right?
He's fine. They're just it's just bubble wrap. Like
there are two other things, like the intrigue around JJ McCarthy and the uncertainty is fueling one of maybe a handful of interesting stories in the NFL right now. There's not a lot to talk about. Like, you want to waste your breath covering the NFL preseason, you're literally like, who's going to start the first preseason game between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones? Is that a real quarterback competition? Does it matter? Like, is Caleb Williams going to fumble again, right? Like, or, you could take another safety at the 1 yard line. Like the intrigue and the fun and things to cover are pretty thin right now in the NFL, but the JJ McCarthy stuff is real and interesting, and it's getting a lot of coverage. And there's a lot of people who can't, when things aren't looking good in a given practice, cannot wait to tell you about it because it adds intrigue to what to expect of the Vikings this season. And I don't know that we're getting a very fair and balanced picture of what's going on with this development there, because you brought up a key point, which is he is going up against a very talented defense that is going full speed. Brian Flores' defenses they're not pulling punches. They're not giving him an easy landing. Justin Jefferson's commentary is not trying to build up this kid's confidence. Like, that's you got a bona fide wide receiver 1 all pro who's, kind of needs you to get him the ball. And that relationship feels like it has a lot of room to grow. And the offensive line, they're getting beat. But it's by a good defense. So
and I do want to touch on that. There's so much excitement, and this was a theme yesterday too, as we will transition a little into the offseason moves because it's a big part of it. There's healthy enough right now. That was never a problem. The tackles were good. The interior is bad. So before we get into all the moves, the Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and then drafting Donovan Jackson from Ohio State. So the whole interior has been rebuilt, and everyone's like, fuck yeah. Like, that's what we needed to do. Hey, none of these guys have played with each other. I guess, a little bit on the Colts. One's a rookie. The guards haven't played with the tackles. The center hasn't played with one of the guards. Like, continuity is a big thing we talked about. We talked about that a lot with the Bills and how that is a huge part of why that's a really good offensive line that flies under the radar a little. Continuity is massive, and it's going to show right now when they're trying to get used to each other. And they're going up against a pain-in-the-ass defense every day in practice. Hopefully, for the Vikings' sake, that's an iron sharpens iron type thing. And, dealing with what Flores is going to throw at them is going to help them gel quicker. But I don't expect. I expect this offensive line to be better in week 8 if healthy, a lot better than in week 1. Like it's not just going to suddenly come together with 3 brand new pieces, no matter how good they are. Continuity matters. So it's a little give and take on the offensive line, even though we are excited about it. A lot of people want to rate this as like a top 5 offensive line.
Oof.
Really? I mean, I've seen a lot between 5 and 10.
Maybe by the end of the year, if they're all healthy. If they're all healthy by the end of the year, I'll allow it. But
if you're looking at it from a season-long standpoint, I get it, I understand it. But if you're looking at it from a week 1, this is going to take a minute.
Oh, I completely agree. Reflecting a bit more on 2024, you had a 14-3 record, but your last 2, very, very, very sour taste in your mouth if you were a Vikings fan, because you lost your final 2 games with extreme prejudice. You scored 9 points in a bye deciding game against the Lions, 31-9. Not a competitive game. Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts as he was feeling the interior pressure against the C team for the Lions. Was it the 3rd string Lions defense that was effectively out there? And they got the better of Sam Darnold in a playoff stakes type of game. And you might have thought, well, Sam Darnold got his stinker out of the way because that was effectively a playoff game. No, he did not. The Rams were even more violently in his face, and he was feeling the pressure in a game that was played on a neutral field in Arizona because of the wildfires in California. Rams defeated the Vikings 27-9.
I forgot that wrinkle.
The 14 wins was a little fraudulent by Pythag. This was a team expected to win 11.1. Nowhere near the rare air of over-exceeding expectations that you had from the 2022 Vikings, but kind of in that conversation.
What are they, like +8 games now over a 2-year sample for Pythag?
Last year they were -1. 2 years ago they were +4 or 5. Yeah. So yeah, it's plus pretty significant to the good here under Kevin O'Connell, which was good enough to get Kevin O'Connell the coach of the year last year. And it's pretty notable that with the team that won 14 games, you retained all your coaches, bringing back the offensive coordinator Wes Phillips, bringing back the defensive coordinator Brian Flores. Neither of them, I don't even think, got interviews, at least none that I remember that were sincere.
A little silver lining for the Vikings is that Flores still has a bit of a stank on him about the lawsuit. And then there was bad quotes from him from some of the Miami players, plus the lawsuit. Like they might get to keep him another couple of years because of that before he finally gets a shot again.
Even more, though, than exceeding your actual expected win-loss with your record, the Vikings win-loss over-under last year was 6.5, Andy. They won 14 games. Just another example of, you're going to go over by 7 or 7.5. Why not? That is pretty outrageous, exceeding expectations, and why you play the alt win pool and not the -115 either side win pool. But it was just a great season, and the defense and the coaching in particular stood out to me, at least over the early portion where, we talked about it. You had a really, really tough opening salvo of games, not necessarily week 1 at the Giants, but then you had Niners, Texans, Packers, Jets. Like, these were all teams that were expected to be in the playoff mix last year. 2 of them ultimately were. But winning those first 5 games, I think, sent a pretty clear message that you guys were for real. Should have beat the Lions week 7 in a game that the Lions came back on you and snuck one. Lost to the Rams pretty convincingly. They're never really... Brian Flores, too aggressive for Sean McVay. Sean McVay knows how to handle those types of defenses and make it look easy, which means you basically need to avoid the Rams this year in the playoffs if you make it, or else you're in trouble again, I would assume. But yeah, they ripped off win after win after win, week 9 to week 17. None of them really felt that like unearned, I didn't think. These were wins where you were the better team.
And that was the stretch where the defense just continued to get better. Where it was mid-season, we're saying like, oh, this is better than we thought it was going to be, because you're super unsure about, like, Grenard. Hey, was he a product of playing next to some other good players down there? Was he actually good? Is Andrew Van Ginkel actually a thing? How bad is the secondary, guys? This is so bad. Like, can they make anything happen? And then you obviously got a lot out of the pass rush that helped the secondary, but at the same time, like Byron Murphy had a pretty decent year for Byron Murphy standards, and everything on the defense was just 2 notches better than we thought it was. You were getting good quarterback play out of a guy that was brought in to hold a clipboard, and that's how you overperform by 7 games, I guess.
Yeah.
I forgot it was 6.5, man.
The defense for the Vikings, Andy, I don't have this stat in front of me, and I'm curious if you even have a guess if this is that rare or if this is something that probably happens a lot. Defense for the Vikings produced a turnover in every regular season game, including 2 or more turnovers in 10 of their 17 games. That's crazy. Actually, I might have miscounted. It might be 11. That is crazy. 3 turnover games, 1 4 turnover game against the helpless Packers. You needed those 4 turnovers because you only beat them by 2 points. But what a year for the fighting. What a year for the fighting Vikings, for fighting Floreses. Thank you. Great performance by that defense. Unable to turn over the Rams in the playoffs. So the streak
ended. And that was the difference in a very close game.
you turn it over twice and you can't turn over your opponent. That's how you lose 27-9.
That is how you lose 27-9.
I mean, I don't know what else there is to add. I think that ultimately looking at kind of player ratings here, looking at the roster, your most valuable defensive player was Andrew Van Ginkel. AVG Fever was certainly he caught some serious attention. He was 7th in your defensive player of the year voting. He was a 2nd team All-Pro, Andrew Van Ginkel, and probably should have been 1st team. Not sure who beat him on the linebacker level. I don't know who I would have put over Andrew Van Ginkel. He was incredible last year. Dude had how many touchdowns? 3? I felt like guy was 2 interception touchdowns, 1 forced fumble. Didn't get a fumble return touchdowns, but he is up to 4 touchdowns on defense to this point in his young career. Although he is entering his age 30 season because he got a late start, Andy. I don't know if you know this, but
he was a 24-year-old
rookie.
Teams guy.
Yeah,
he wasn't. And truthfully, like, he's great, but for my money, not even the best edge player last year. Probably, I know he technically linebacker, but he's an edge. He's an edge guy. The way they play defense, and there was a bunch of that where it's like Grenard worked out really well. Blake Cashman hasn't been mentioned yet, but the combination of Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace Jr. turned out to be some decent linebackers. Not only bringing pressure, because if you play on that defense, doesn't matter which of the 11 guys you are expected to bring pressure at some point. But also, this was a really, really, really good run stop unit.
Yeah, it was excellent. Just for shits and giggles, the linebackers who made 1st team where the hell are they? I'm only seeing 2nd team. How is that possible? 1st team, where the
because 1st is the worst and 2nd is the best.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't even know. Who did we give 1st team to? TJ Watt.
That guy.
Nick Benito.
Nick Benito was pretty good.
He was pretty good.
What are you gonna do?
Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, and Zach Bond were your middle linebacker first teams for the AP. All right, fine. All right. Outside linebacker Van Ginkel was 2nd team after some of those guys. Anyway.
Anything else on 24 before we move into the off season? Okay. Mentioned the center, Ryan Kelly. Big upgrade from Bradbury.
Okay.
Mentioned Will Fries. He was injured last year, broke his leg. should be fine now. Mentioned, not a lot of draft picks. They only had 5 picks, but Donovan Jackson, Ohio State, he versatile guy. He can move around, but he's going to be your guard. And then brought in some muscle and beef up front. Jonathan Allen, Commanders defensive tackle. He'll probably play defensive edge because it's a 3-4, but still same kind of thing. He's up front, big dude. He missed some games last year with a torn pec. Javon Hargrave from the Niners. He's another one that's gonna, if he gets the Flores bump everyone else gets, I guess he's fine. He's 32, Allen's 30, so they're not young. And he tore his triceps, missed part of the season. So coming off injuries, not the youngest, but guys that Flores liked. So I'm fine with that. The ones
also, the compensation isn't affecting you from addressing other parts of your roster, as far as I can tell you. I mean, if you really want to split hairs and be like, they could have done better at cornerback and not given, not added strength to strength with those 2 signings, and I guess I would listen.
I'm not sure who else they would have got, but not super jazzed for Isaiah Rodgers and Jeff Okudah. This is the thing. When you get drafted in the top 5, people are going to just take chance after chance on you. And maybe this is the spot where he plays well, because we saw that from Byron Murphy. It's kind of not the same exact deal, but it's like, hey, Byron Murphy's playing pretty good in this defense. That's not bad. Maybe Okudah can do something like that. He's had some bad injuries. Like, he ripped an Achilles. He had that hip injury. Isaiah Rodgers, I like him, and I like him in Flores. You know why I like him in Flores' defense?
Because
it's a joke. And
why?
He's a bit of a gambler.
Bit of a gambler.
Because he missed some time for a gambling violation suspension a couple of years ago. Yes,
he was great. He was good last year, I thought.
He with the Eagles last year. So that we'll see how those goes, and then the rest is pretty much depth. You bring in Rondale Moore, which I guess you're going to need depth right now with Jordan Addison probably suspended. Tim Jones is a special teams wide receiver. You re-signed Aaron Jones, you re-signed Byron Murphy, you re-signed Harrison Smith, you re-signed Theo Jackson, and you brought back your punter. You traded for Jordan Mason, who, by all accounts from camp, looks enormous. And who's the running back for Green Bay that was super fat?
Quadzilla.
Yeah, but not in a bad way. Like, he looks terrifying. Like, he's your goal line back. And then you also acquired Sam Howell as a backup quarterback. Obviously, the losses were Darnold, Cam Bynum, Garrett Bradbury, Ed Ingram.
Oh, yeah. Were you thinking of Eddie Lacy?
Eddie Lacy, yes, fat Eddie Lacy. Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's not like that. He just looks big in a good way. The rest of the draft was pretty nondescript. Your next pick was the 102nd pick. You took Ty Felton from Maryland. I don't know a ton about him. He's probably going to have to get some reps here because of, again, with the Addison thing. People like this Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. It's a Georgia defensive lineman. What's wrong with that? Like, those have been working out for everybody. So big run stopping defensive lineman. He's 21, and people say he's using the versatile word. People love to use that about defensive players. Versatile fits Flores' scheme. So he's another one he's probably going to get some playing time.
Sam mentions Mason, league leader in rushing touchdowns, is a decent long shot. Can't disagree, but I will say, watch out for vulture JJ McCarthy. He's got the wheels. McCarthy's got the wheels. He may call his own number inside the 10. Just be aware. Anyway, who knows?
Xavier Scott too.
Although maybe they're bullshitting because they obviously don't want him to. He's coming off a freaking ACL tear. So maybe you keep him a little bit wrapped up. Anyway, I will note of all the guys you said.
All the coaches retained. Yeah.
Of the guys you mentioned, Jeff Okudah is weirdly getting very positive buzz in camp. Never thought I would say that out loud. I thought he was.
Might just need to be in the right spot.
Isaiah Rodgers, similarly, I was not expecting much of him in Philly last year. He only started 3 games. He didn't make a huge impact, but he can still play. They're not paying these guys anything, so they're cheap gambles. And again, like if you're in a Brian Flores defense and you've been identified by him and his staff and Quessy to whatever degree he is giving you the thumbs up on these guys, like I'm fine believing that you know how to evaluate and staff and load a roster with extremely talented players for the defensive side of the ball, surely. So, and oh, by the way, like you can obviously scout and draft wide receivers well. So Ty Felton maybe is an easy gamble too. So didn't really think they did anything that I wouldn't have co-signed the way that they handled their offseason. I thought it was well done. And if it turns out that they swung and missed, I'll be surprised, I think.
Very fast. Felton, 4.37. The last time Vikings drafted a receiver from Maryland, it worked out.
Oh, who was it?
Stephon Diggs.
Oh shit! I forgot Diggs was a Terp. Oh man, good call.
2015. That's a pipeline.
Good call.
It's a pipeline at this point.
I never would have guessed. Yeah, without thinking hard about it, I don't think I could have come up with Diggs as a Terp.
Yeah, it's been a while. He's been on a few teams. So yeah, good offense, or I'd say a good off season. All things considered, you identified some spots you needed to improve. You needed some more help up front. You just said, Flores, go pick out some guys you like to fit your scheme. Make sure a couple of them play secondary because we could use help. You went and got your offensive lineman through the draft and through free agency. You traded for another running back, and yeah, it should be, again, none of it matters if the quarterback's bad.
Yeah,
but we'll give it a good grade. Let's take a look at the Circa Sports Survivor Millions Pro Football Contest schedule brought to you by Circa. And the Vikings don't have an easy schedule. None of the teams here do.
No.
What?
But it's
none of them are like the your scheduled loss, shit kicking. There's not a ton of that. But there shouldn't be when you're supposed to be a good team.
No, you're the biggest dog. You're on the whole schedule is week 9, and by the time we get there, who knows what Detroit's power rating is going to be?
You're so cold on Detroit.
I'm just saying.
People are going to be so mad about that podcast. You should really leave.
Did you not see the Hall of Fame game, Andy?
Oh my God!
They are a mess.
It's a mess. You could tell. I mean, you could tell Ben Johnson was gone. It was right away. Turnovers, bungling.
Classic linos. All right.
Your granddaddy's linos are back.
If you were going to sequence the schedule that was a soft landing for an inexperienced quarterback, I think you would ask for Atlanta and Cincinnati relatively early in the sequence, and you get them week 2 and week 3, and I think that's pretty nice. The fact that you get Chicago week 1 also interesting, in that you're up against you're taking a potential cold weather, terrible, difficult late season game, and you're moving it to week 1 when Chicago is going to still be figuring out their offense, presumably. And maybe the most interesting sequence of games of all that happens for any team. Week 4, week 5.
Yeah, never been done.
Back-to-back games in international countries. It's been done for the Jags, who had an extended stays in London, but this is a Dublin-London doubleheader. Presumably, the Vikings will be staying in Europe and not flying back to Minnesota. I think we can safely assume that. But you get Pittsburgh first. Very difficult defense. A little Aaron Rodgers head-to-head, which is fun. Minnesota, of course, played Aaron Rodgers in international waters last year in London. This is another Aaron Rodgers in a foreign stadium contest, which is cool. Difficult defense. If your offensive line is not starting to cohere by the time you get to week 4, we may have a problem. Similarly, week 5, Cleveland, a very difficult pass rush, but not a lot of anything else to be scared about there. The fun thing is Cleveland has to come to London. Meanwhile, you just take the ferry over, like the women from Say Nothing who bombed London.
Ireland's an island, or is that?
Ireland is an island.
Yeah, because Scotland's
from Ireland to London, you will be taking a plane or boat.
I always mix up. Scotland's above it. Ireland's off to the side.
Yes.
Northern Ireland's doing something else.
Yeah, and they're
Wales
not connected by a bridge, I don't think, and they're not connected by a tunnel. France and England are connected by a channel.
The channel.
Anyway, you do get that extended stay, and I personally like if it's not going well for JJ weeks 1 through 4, I'm still like very much going to be the last person that runs around with their chicken head off, chicken with their head cut off, freaking out about it, because that sort of concentrated week of practice after playing four football games and then getting the Browns, that feels like if he's going to have a coming out party, it's probably week 5. Slump buster week 5.
Yeah.
Right. And realistically, his season's probably going to be up and down. He could look amazing week 1 and then terrible week 2 against the softer defense. Who the hell knows? But you are going to be under a watchful eye of the viewing public because you are playing 2 standalone primetime games in weeks 1 and week 2, and then 2 standalone international games week 4 and week 5. So
you might be the good CBS game at noon that day. It's like the Vikings versus Burrow. That might be the big game at noon for maybe that's a Fox game. Either way, one of them. But yeah, the 4 standalone games to start. Yeah. And the Vikings have had some experience over the last couple of years traveling internationally. So I think that helps, although at this point, everybody's been over there. But
yeah,
so it's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one. Luckily, you get some pretty shitty quarterbacks to play against.
Yeah. And then if you have solidified if you're starting to, if the game is starting to slow down for you after that extended week of, bonus training camp, you get a bye, and then the schedule gets gnarly. Philly, Chargers, Lions, Ravens. These are all teams that have realistic expectation of being in the playoff mix. Some of them have realistic championship expectation. And those 4 games, you are almost certainly going to be a dog, even though 2 of them, Baltimore and Philly, will be at US Bank. That is going to be a tough stretch. You have rest disadvantage against Detroit and Baltimore. You have travel disadvantage against LA and Detroit. Time disadvantage against LA, although that's pretty marginal. It's a Thursday night football game. The kind of expected state of things after 10 weeks of football is you're probably a 500 team. Is that crazy, Andy?
No, and I think that's a bellwether stretch.
And I guess that's not actually possible because it's only 9 games. Well, but you're 4 and 5, 5 and 4.
I would expect them to tie the Chargers. You're correct. It will be 4-4-1. I don't think McCarthy and Harbaugh have it in their heart to beat each other. That's a bellwether stretch, because if you do go through that stretch 2-2 or 3-1, you're very much like, this is a contender. This is a team that can beat anybody in the playoffs, and we have to add another name to the list for the teams that can win in the NFC. If you go through that and you stumble pretty hard, then maybe there's some betting opportunities on this team as far as like make the playoffs, win the division, whatever you're looking at there, because it is, there's not a bunch of gimmies late, but that stretch, that last bit, you can win a lot of games down the stretch. There's a few that you absolutely should.
You definitely
can. The Christmas matchup is such a good, as Patrick's pointing out in the chat, that's such a fun Christmas Day game.
It is. That'll be fun.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 standalone games.
For now, maybe more.
They could get flexed.
Shit, man. Minnesota, Green Bay, week 18 could be for the division. You could be on Sunday Night Football in week 18 for the second straight year, deciding your fate. The general vibe I get is kind of irrespective of how weeks 1 through 4 go. I'm probably going to be betting Minnesota, laying the points against Cleveland, even if it's more than 7. Like, that's such a good spot, period, that you get to stay and that they have to come to you. And plus, who the fuck knows what's going on with Cleveland and their offense by the time they get to that point. And I can't imagine that's going to be well suited to go up against a Brian Flores defense, but fine.
If it's Snoop Huntley, I'll probably abstain, but any other quarterback, I'd take. I'll be there with you. It's I think that's a game too, where let's say it's 8, you lay 8, you go find a 10.5, a 14.5,
Yeah,
a
of course.
17.5.
Yeah.
I think you sprinkle some alts because that could just
Yeah.
be an all-time ass whooping where, hey, the Vikings scored 24, but they covered all the alts because
they could pitch a
24-3. Yeah,
sure, for sure. I think regardless of what happens in the first 4 plus 1, 5, I'm kind of assuming if they're bad over that stretch and people have made up their mind that McCarthy just doesn't have it, then you're probably catching a lot of points in that next sequence where you should be able competitive, right? And I think the answer is we zag out of the bye to the good or the bad. If this team is underwhelmed and they've been downgraded by market and you're catching 6 points against the likes of the Chargers, Lions, Eagles, then I think you take the points. And if you are good out of the stretch and those games against the Eagles and the Ravens are under 3s, I'll lay Ravens. I'll do it. I'll happily do it. I think Lamar can handle Flores. I think certainly Philly makes an interesting case against that second, that weak secondary. So ultimately, I think regardless of good or bad, even if it's 5, whatever happens to their market rating, if it goes up or goes down between week 1 and week 7, I think you tack in the other direction from week 7 to week 10. Is this making sense?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay.
It's like I said with those first 3 weeks and the reaction the market will have. Like it feels like because we're in a bit of a limbo with the quarterback rating, the market is going to be forced to react heartily and quickly and strongly to this over the first 5 weeks.
Yeah. The best case scenario is you catch them with a bunch of points. They're cover darlings in that stretch against tough teams. Then they beat Chicago, and then the market just gives up and upgrades them rating wise. And then you get to fade the rookie quarterback on the road at Green Bay and at Seattle in back-to-back weeks. I can see myself betting the Vikings almost every week this year, one way or the other, depending on how the market reacts.
Survivor?
Probably
not a lot of big numbers.
Probably not.
It's scary that
probably not.
This is a team that we are pegging as a double-digit win team, possibly, and they're almost certainly a team I'd love to just cross off from Survivor. If you're playing,
I don't
Circus Survivor,
I don't.
It's basically the Cleveland game, but I don't want to use them that early. I have to be feeling really good about the team, and I think maybe that is a spot you'd use them because there's maybe not a lot of spots the rest of the season. I think there is a possibility that they look really good and Caleb Williams is clearly failing and it's just not working. And you can look at using him in that week 11 spot hosting the Bears because at that point they'd be like,
they're calling for Pageant.
Well, either that or just a mess and they're a 7-point favorite there, or the same can be said about, possibly there's a lot of road games there. There's not really another secondary spot. It has to be if the Bears suck and the Vikings are good and you're able to use them there, you use them in Cleveland, or you probably just abstain. And for my money, it's probably a team that I'm abstaining. And if something crazy happens late in the week or late in the season and an opportunity arises, I guess you have them in your back pocket.
Yeah, it sounds right to me. I'm excited for almost every single game on this schedule. I'm going to watch every one of them. This is a great entertaining team, entertaining schedule. Even the Giants game, Dallas, absolutely. Hosting Washington, oh my God, December 7th. What a banger. JJ McCarthy on the road at the Green Bay defense and at the Seattle defense in late November. Oh my God. This team is going to carry me through 2025. I feel like I absolutely love this schedule.
And one point by Patrick here too: the Giants may be dead and buried in week, even though that's a road game. It's a road game.
Dart, though.
Well, let's see what kind of coaching you get from interim head coach Michael Gabriel at that
point. Did you just look up special teams coordinator for the Giants?
I did just look up the special teams coordinator for the Giants. Well, because we've said already that we're on record that Dable makes it through the season almost certainly.
I think,
There is a situation where it's so bad that he doesn't, and they just say, we got to. The fans are mad. We have to do something. Gabriel, get in here.
Get in there, buddy. Get
Step
Jackson
up, buddy.
Dart. Get Jackson Dart a home win for the fans for Christmas and take us out of the first overall pick race. That does feel how that goes down. God damn.
He went to West High School in Torrance.
Interesting. Really great schedule. God, I'm excited for these games. Rare to be that excited about games in November and December on August 5th.
I'm excited
Here we are.
Football, Drew. It's
let's rip through these ratings. QBFC is tough. Tough, man.
Impossible.
I mean, do you go with effectively a rookie number here, or do you go with a slight surcharge on a rookie number because of what Kevin O'Connell has done as the offensive mind in his 3 years?
Yeah, it's the same conversation as the Bears. You have a super high OC and it's more unknown to me rather than last year we got to see Caleb suck ass out loud and just get sacked 100 times. So more of the unknown. So I put this as just a flat 5. I had to put it higher than the Bears because
5.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to give him a great coaching rating.
5.
So I had to build it in. This is a lot of KOC. And
oh my goodness,
are you higher?
You're gonna be way over market if you're at 5 for QB.
You wait till you see my other stuff.
Huh. I'm at 3.4, and that is basically taking a expected rookie with
what was
limited,
your Bears number?
3.9.
See, I can't justify that being lower than the Bears because it's not that Ben Johnson may be a better coordinator and a better head coach in the long run than KOC, but what he's done with quarterbacks, I have to have a huge bump for that. This feels like right now I'm going to say this is a middle of the pack offense from quarterback OC because of what he brings to the table and what he's been able to do with especially if we see Sam Darnold just stumble. Got him, and that's going to be the funny part of this season if it just turns out bad for him.
Okay. Interesting.
I thought you might be higher.
I feel like 3.4 is actually expecting something somewhat positive.
I think KOC could take almost any quarterback in the league, and we should be getting a 5 out of it.
Okay. That's fascinating. I will be prepared to go up if it gets if it gets up to a 5 for me. Then the Vikings are like this team's going to the playoffs.
Pre Lions and Rams games, what would have been your Darnold KOC number? It's like a freaking 7.68.
I was at a 6.
I would have been higher. I mean, he was doing he was doing a lot of what he was being asked to do. Okay, I'm fine. I'm a 5.
Let's see, Darnold. What did I give Darnold with? I'm at 4.2 with Darnold in Seattle. I don't think I was any higher than a 6 and change.
Oh, Sam, let's not go that. any starting quarterback. Howell's a special case because he doesn't see players running at him. He has some sort of peripheral vision problem where it's in the front too.
Okay. Skill group for me is a 7.5. This is an outstanding skill group, even downgrading them for the absence of Jordan Addison in week 1. Where are you?
I'm a 6.5.
Okay. What will you be with Addison?
I'd be up at a 7. Little downgrade for him. I don't have great grades for the running back room. It's fine, but it's
I think it's nice.
An average at best. Looking at like the numbers, it's.
Let's see.
I thought I was gonna go find better numbers for Well, we haven't seen Jordan Mason in the offense yet, but I thought I'd go see better numbers for Aaron Jones, but he's getting up there, and he was mediocre. He was good, but not great. And at times he wasn't very good at all. It was kind of a hit and miss year for him. And he's like, it's like my 16th best running back room.
I had him better than average against light boxes. I had him excellent against heavy boxes, and I had not great against neutral. So overall, like, you're getting 5.5 when he's touching the ball. But Hawkinson and the target distribution week 1, I'm not as worried about missing Addison for week 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 3. Week 1, 2, 3, you're missing Addison. I'm not really worried. I still really like the target distribution you can get between mostly going to Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson with the healthy amount of targets to Aaron Jones.
Hawk is a top 10 tight end yet. It's just there's such a big gap between like the top 5 and the bottom 5 in the top 10. I think there's a bit of a disconnect there when you get to like, hey, who else is in that group? Like Dallas and Ingram, and I don't know. Like there's some elite tight ends, and then there's some really good tight ends. And I think Hawkinson's still in that second group. So I have a neutral running back room, a very good wide receiver room who's missing one important piece, and then a good starting tight end yet to see on Nick Vanette. Josh Oliver's okay. And then I believe they brought in one other like trade piece, but for the most part, it's Hawk.
Okay. Offensive line for me gets a 6, and I'm cautiously nervous about the circulating clips of rookie guard Donovan Jackson.
Yeah, I'm at 6.25. I based a lot of it on reading up on Darisaw the last day or two.
Yeah, it
sounds like he's fine.
He's elite enough. He's like what do you call it? Like Trent Williams Jr. You know, a little bit less confidence that he can just show up week 1 and be, you know, kind of at an all-pro level. But I'm fine expecting that until we see otherwise.
Yeah, I had to go check like when the injury happened and read about his progress.
Everything against the Lions, right?
Yeah,
no, it was against the Rams. It was that Rams Thursday game.
First Rams game.
Yeah.
That everything sounds pretty good. Yeah, remember there was a safety in one of those games that didn't get called. Yeah, it might have been on that play.
It might have been on that play.
But yeah, he's good.
Nightmare.
The rest of it is good names, but haven't played together yet. Need to see it. The rookie downgrades a little. I have a pretty good grade on the other tackle as well.
Okay, so this is my Brian O'Neill's good. 16th best offense, and again, like, I took a rookie expected rating and gave it a quarter of a standard deviation bump because of KOC, and that's how I get to 3.4. If this is a 5 as just as I thought experiment, this is my 11th best offense, and my power number turns into this team is making the playoffs because my defensive rating is
12th best offense for me.
Okay, defense 8 for me on run stop. This is an outstanding run stop.
Exactly.
I'd be surprised if this is not the best or top 3, I guess.
I have a trouble. I actually downgraded it a little. I had it over an 8 to end the year. I have trouble keeping it as high as it can be.
Sure.
Just defense isn't sticky, bringing in some new pieces on the defensive line. Who knows? So, but it's still, I don't see how they get worse. So I'm going to call it a 8. I went 8, 7.54 for defense.
I am 8, 6.7 for pass rush, 4.5 for coverage.
Yeah. Kind of the same general trend.
Yeah.
Pass rush is hard to guess because it's kind of it's a type of defense that people don't use all that much anymore, and
right,
because it's people are like, well, it's beatable, and it's still beatable by some, but he's taken guys that maybe were not exactly cast off, but he's taken a lot of free agents and some people in the secondary definitely that we didn't think were very good, made them play really well as a unit. It's still going to be a good defense. It does lack a little pop in the coverage, and it's not just the fact that you're looking at, you know, Okudah and Isaiah Rodgers having to come in and start right away, but I don't have a ton of really great coverage grades on the linebackers either.
Okay.
Like Cashman's fine. Pace.
I'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm okay being a little bit below average for this.
Yeah, Pace is not a good coverage backer. Cashman's okay. Josh Metellus, who just got a nice deal, he's kind of an everything. It'll be interesting to see how they continue to use him all over the place. He's a good coverage piece, but and Sam says Hargrave and Allen hurt the run stop for him personally. We'll see. Maybe they won't even play. They're injured. They're injury risks.
No, those guys are fine. I mean, it like if you're saying they're going to be too aggressive in pass rush and therefore the run stop is going to suffer, they're smart and savvy enough players to not get too aggressive on and get kind of fooled.
Well, and a big part of why the run stop's so good, like I mentioned, Pace not great in coverage. Pace, Cashman, Harrison Smith, Metellus, just elite run stoppers. Like you have so many people in the second and third level that are.
That's where it's coming from.
Guess what? I'm up in the box and I got your back.
Yeah,
we can do crazy blitzing like this because you have pieces in the secondary and in the linebacker core who can stop any runs if you miss some sort of draw play.
Okay. As rostered, this looks like my third best defense, even though I have questions swirling about some players that will be out on the field.
Fourth for me.
Fourth for you. Behind Philly for you?
I don't have them up. I only have the NFC. I'll have to look.
Behind Denver and Houston?
Yeah. Let me pull up all my divisions. Select all defense.
I'm just wondering if this is your top defense in the NFC. That's kind of why I'm asking.
I have Philly and Denver in a virtual tie for second. Houston still my first. Okay. But I need to do some touch up on that as well.
I'm pretty damn close with all of those guys. Like all these teams are they're breathing down each other's necks, except for Denver's way out ahead because their coverage grade is so freaking high. Don't know if that's right. We'll find out.
It's actually I'd have to go out to another decimal point to break. The Houston number is almost identical to Philly and Denver as well. So that's interesting. Intangibles, would it surprise you? Did you look at I'm assuming you looked at the Aaron Schatz stuff for aggressiveness index. Did you look at where our guy is?
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell.
Like 30th.
30th. Not near the top. Not doing a great job. And not just aggressiveness generally, but like making the wrong decision at times when the right decision is staring at you in the face. That was pretty common last year. But I do think that in general, adjustments and player development and some of the other things that kind of go into this bucket are pretty solid for all of these coaches. So I'm still at a 4, even though the aggressiveness is lousy.
Oh, 5. Okay. I went with a 5 just because of, like you said, adjustments. I think it's been good adjustments, good game plans, good keeping people calm on the sideline kind of guy. He seems just like a good leader. But yeah, I was going to have a lot higher number until I saw the decision-making metrics. It's like, oh, no.
Not good.
Not great, Bob.
Not good. Special teams for you?
It is a 2.5.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We can't make field goals anymore? What's going on with our place kicker, Will Reichard?
Kicker went 6 for 6 today in practice or yesterday, but yeah, like I think if you look at just overall field goal percentage last year, they were 28th in the league. Kickoff return metrics and kickoff coverage metrics, they were in the bottom 5. Punting, net punting, opponent net punting, bottom 10. And I mean, just if you look at the DVOA, also had them in the bottom 5 special teams group. They have an Aussie kid coming in competing at the punting spot as Ryan Wright was re-signed, but Oscar Chapman is going to compete for that spot. It looks like they're going to run it back with the kicker again. He was a rookie last year. Alabama kicker Will Reichert. He I guess he's doing okay in camp, so we'll see. But Rondell Moore, who was brought in as a receiver, he might return some kicks, some punts. So we'll see. Maybe we get a little better field position here too.
I dig. In totality, my power number for Minnesota is a 1.41. What are you?
2.23.
Okay.
Mostly hinging on the quarterback number. Oh, you know what we're gonna have to do?
What's that? Oh, it's time. Derp Dog. It's
They're back.
Off-season.
They're
Off-season
back.
for Derp Dog.
No, Vikings back, I guess. So
they're back.
I was gonna only take it off if I was higher than you. I didn't know how high you'd want to be on quarterback. We hadn't really talked about this a lot.
I'm at 141. They're my 12th best team overall. So they're fringe playoff for me. The market has them at 0.89, 14th best team overall. So I am 0.51 higher than market, which is pretty notable. It probably going to present some opportunities, particularly if they struggle at all early in the market, downgrades them, then we're really cooking.
Yeah.
All right, man. Futures
fun to watch some preseason. Yeah, like we said, I think we talked a lot about kind of ways to enter the market on this team throughout the season. I mean, if you believe in the quarterback, I think you need to go take a Super Bowl future because they're rated as a middle of the pack team. And
you're saying that JJ McCarthy in his first ever run through the playoffs is just he's just ready. He's ready for the playoffs. I saw
a rookie go to the NFC title game anymore. This isn't 1993 anymore, baby. Rookies can do it. And he's not a rookie. He's a redshirt freshman, guys. He's been in the league for a year. So I'm not worried about that.
He has more rings than Daniels.
Yeah. He's played in a big game. He's played in a couple big games. Maybe we're not worried about these youngsters anymore. It's not that young. So
okay. Their odds to win the NFC right now, for the record, are 12 plus 1237. Okay. Their odds to win the Super Bowl are plus 2618. You are talking about a dome team where presumably home field advantage, if you get it in the playoffs, is going to matter a fuck ton. So winning their division is going to be a pretty huge precursor to them having any kind of hope in the playoffs, which means to me, it's less about are the Vikings, is JJ McCarthy got it? Is he have it? And it's more about, well, what's happening with Green Bay? What's happening with Detroit? Because if McCarthy's looks the part and can kind of still negotiate a top 10-ish team to some wins, but he can't win the NFC North, then I'm no thanks. No, thank you. Not interested in betting on JJ McCarthy on the road. Sorry. Not in January.
Maybe I should just do the homer thing, and I'll be obviously at the Circa. They have their futures book usually has some better numbers.
Oh, their futures book is very low hold.
I'll have to go look. If there's like a 30, I'll go get a paper ticket. I'll go put $100 on them just to have it.
I don't want to just bet JJ MVP while you're at it, man. No, I'm just kidding. The Vikings are plus 324 to win the NFC North. That's not quite enough for me to get involved.
No.
Interesting stage of elimination bets for the Vikings. Just want your take on this, because I was looking at loss in wild card round, because again, like I have this as a fringe playoff team, and if they make it, the idea of McCarthy being on the road in San Francisco or LA or Philly or Green Bay. Is there another cold weather outdoor place we can send him? Washington. Where else? I think that's probably about it. Probably going to Tampa Bay is not going to be that scary. Yeah, losing in this wild card round at 3-1 looks pretty interesting to me, almost more so than make the playoffs, because right now make the playoffs is about minus 105, right?
Yeah.
They're expected to make the playoffs.
Which chives a little more with our numbers.
Make, yes, is minus 114. No is minus 107. So it will be a little bit of a disappointment if they're not in the mix, Andy. I mean, at that point, does the temperature go up on Kwesi and KOC, who said they wanted this experiment over?
No.
I'm curious how it plays out.
So.
Don't sleep on the possibility that this gets weird. Regular season win total.
Dalton says, do we have any bets that are plus 750 or better? I bet high leverage, high capital. I don't waste my time with stupid shit. I guess
750 or better. Well, you're not going to find it in the win total market. The alt win totals 8.5. If you want under 8.5, plus 149. If you want under 7.5, plus 267. Over 9.5, only plus 114. So,
and truthfully, I love Washington. I love Philly. I love, even Green Bay and Detroit to some degree. So this is tough, but I think, I joked about betting them to win the Super Bowl, but truthfully, this team really, really outperforms again for like the third straight year or whatever. If that's a thing, it might be top seed, most wins in the NFC, that sort of stuff rather than division. Because, like, to your point, even if they have home field, it's still a young quarterback in the playoffs going up against like the Eagles or something. That's such a tough ask, even at home. We saw how that went with Case Keenum 10 years ago.
I might give Christian Darrisaw Protector of the Year a sniff at 40-1. That's a big
Do
number.
they have that market up?
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my God. I'm glad that's a new I'm glad that's a new award.
I would not bet KOC Coach of the Year 46-1. I think that is asking a lot. JJ McCarthy probably not going to get consideration for comeback player of the year, even though he's like the fourth choice right now. Yeah. I would steer clear of that. Offensive player of the year, I think Jefferson is way too short at 15-1. I would be surprised if he's your leading receiver just based on the ups and downs expected from the passing offense here. DPOY Van Ginkel, Andy, that might be longer than 35-1.
No, that's minus 110, right?
Defensive player of the year, Van Ginkel. Are we just going to joke about this all year, or is somebody going to actually bet this?
We should bet this. That's another one. I will have a paper ticket.
Do you want to know something that is exceptionally disrespectful? The number 7 choice by voting for defensive player of the year last year is not listed as an option at Bookmaker. Shame. How in the world am I not seeing it? Is it really here? How are you listing Dre Greenlaw, but not? How's Liatu Latu listed? What? Some of these guys listed is just insane, and there's no Andrew Van Ginkel. What the fuck? DeMar Hamlin is listed. What?
Well,
this is disrespectful.
All right, I can get him at 100-1 right now at Bovada. And they will take more than I want to bet. That was surprising.
That's surprising.
Shocked me when I hit the max button. That's what happens when you keep it clean with a lot of shitty golf bets over the years.
Well, Dalton likes Grenard. Grenard is 140-1. So there's your big number. There's your high leverage, high capital. High capital? You're locking up very small amount of capital for a very high payout. I feel like that's sort of the way that works, right?
Yeah.
You can lock in $35.64 to win $5,000 per click right now on Grenade.
Bet them both.
He's great. He's a huge part of this offense succeeding this year, and his defense succeeding this year.
He needs some serious counting stats, but
I'm going to go into this season relatively late on Vikings anything, not because I'm a pussy who's hemming and hawing about whether to believe in JJ or not believe in him. I actually think they have kind of a narrow range of outcomes, and really, the only thing that we could learn is that if he just doesn't have it, and if he's bad. And in that world, I'm going to be the last person off the train. Week 9, and be like, guys, we're catching 9 points against the Lions. The Lions, we're catching 9 points, and they lose by 50. At that point, I will put my hand up and say, my bad.
That's on me. That's on me.
My bad. So, all right. Sound good to you?
Yes, let's call it a day. Double dipping tomorrow because I'm off Thursday. So We'll do the Packers at 2 p.m. Central, followed right the fuck after with the Lions. The Linos Packers double dip. Finish up the NFC Norse. Thanks to Circa for the sponsorship. Thanks to you guys for listening. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Good luck with your bets, especially you, Dalton. Pin dat.
Welcome back to Vikings Wall Art.